All rise. Macon County Legislative Court now session on speech on presiding subject attorney.
Scott, are you on with us?
Yes, sir.
Would you lead us in invocation, please?
Our most kind and gracious, all-wise, Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day you've given us. We thank you for all the many blessings you bestowed upon us, dear Lord. We ask you to meet with us here tonight, dear Lord, as we conduct the county business. We ask you to be with us, every decision to make. Dear Lord, we pray that you watch over all those in the military, wherever they might be, serving this great land and country, dear Lord. Watch over the sick. We pray you have us and bless us. Watch over us, keep us safe. All these favors we ask. In Jesus' most precious holy name. Amen.
Amen. Count, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you do a roll call for us, please?
Philip Snow.
Here.
Todd Gentry.
Here.
Scott Hammond.
Here.
Mike Jenkins. Ben Bartley.
Here.
Chuck Porter.
Here.
Michelle Phillips. Here. Justin Dyer.
Here.
Ken Whitty.
Here.
Scott Cawthorn.
Here.
Tony Wicks.
Here.
Michael Slayton.
Here.
Jeff Hughes.
Here.
Barry King.
Here.
Chad West.
Here.
Kyle Petty.
Here.
Wendell Jones.
Here.
Jeray Wilmore.
Here.
Helen Hessen.
Here.
Larry West.
Here.
Okay, I want to welcome everybody here tonight. Of course, it's been on WLCT, radio, and on our YouTube. It's been streamed, so tonight we have three of our members that are called in, and just ask everyone to try, when you talk, to speak up in the mics clearly so that they can hear you. We are still working on our audio. North-Central Telephone is getting two conference phones that'll be paired together to put in here to see if that will help. The problem we've got is two different audio levels, so they're working with that, and as soon as they get those installed, hopefully it'll be the next meeting, we'll hopefully have a better audio level for everyone. But anyway, for the people that's out there, this is our legislative body meeting. We have our committee of the whole meeting, which is basically our work session that's done first Monday night, and then the commissioners are given their information and materials. They discuss it. They've got 2 weeks to make a decision on what they might want to do. Then it's brought back to them tonight for final decision. So we just want to welcome you here and welcome everybody here tonight. And we'll go to the next thing on the agenda, which is going to be election of noters. Now, entertain a motion going to election of noters. Got a motion and a second going to election of noters. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, vote like the same. Okay. Hearing none, motion carried.
Okay, the second list, is the second page behind your agenda, y'all. It's just a little different. But my first one is Crystal Coloni. Who's that? I'm sorry. Brenda Coley.
I will.
Shanola Copus.
I will, Scott.
Judy Law.
I will.
Donna Bader.
I will.
Tanilla Robinson.
I will.
And Shannon Wright. Do y'all have any more for me? That's all I have.
Make a motion, nomination cease, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, got a motion, nomination cease, and election acclamation. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, vote like the same. Let's slow down. Okay, number 7 is approved minutes in your packet. Of course, you have a legislative body meeting, 2/16/21. You have those planning commission meetings of 3/17/20, 4/21/20, 5/19/20, 7/21/20, 8/18/20, 9/15/20, and 10/20/20. Then you have got your Board of Zoning Appeals meetings of 9/15/20, and 10/20/20. And then you have your Committee of the Whole meetings in your packet tonight of 3/1/21. Entertain a motion to approve those?
Make motion. Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion on any of the minutes?
So we have to get caught up on all that, we're behind on the plan.
Yeah. I think it's
I
got
think it's
to.
a form and everything.
Yeah.
We got December, but we have December.
Got a motion second. Any further discussion? No, all in favor, let it be known, saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, for like sign. Hearing none, motion carried. Next is your budget amendments, and you have the 9 budget amendments that were in original. I put one for courthouse, 2 was sheriff's department, 3 is mayor's office, 4 was chamber of commerce, 5 the general sessions judge, 6 EMS, 7 sheriff's department, 8 animal control, and 9 was your agriculture extension service. Nothing has changed on those budget amendments, so entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion on any of them? If not, call the roll, please.
Ben Bartley. Todd Porter. Michelle Phillips. Justin Dyer. Ken Whitty.
Aye.
Scott Cochran.
Aye.
Tony Wicks. Michael Slayton. Jeff Hughes. Barry King. Chad West. Paul Petty. Wendell Jones. Sheree Wilmore. Helen Hessen. Larry West. Philip Snow. Todd Gentry. Scott Gammons. Mike Jenkins.
Aye.
What do you want like to change your vote? Motion carries.
Okay. Next, we got your resolutions and proclamations. Number 1 is your 3/27/21 UT extension proclamation. Entertain a motion to ratify that.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Got a motion, second. Any discussion? Not all in favor, let it be known, saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All opposed, the like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Number 2 is a resolution, 3/28/21, resolution concerning impact fee. That's where our county attorney, want to explain that, bring that to you.
So, you have in your packet, the resolution to increase the impact fee. Just by way of history, this body adopted an impact fee in 2004. And that was by private act, which meant after you all adopted it, it went to the state legislature, and then the state legislature passed it, and then it came back here for confirmation. And so since 2004, Macon County has had the impact fee on new residential development and new commercial development. If you look at your resolution, the fee at that time for new residential development was $1 per square 4-foot space, 25 cents for new commercial square foot space. Since the enactment of that impact fee, it has never been increased. That's the same rate that it was originally set at when it was passed 16 years ago. The purpose of the private act specifically said, when it was adopted by you all in the legislature, it specifically said that it was for the purpose of offsetting the increased capital cost to the county as a result of the influx of new residents, which led to new residential commercial development. Specifically, that enactment at that time said that the proceeds of that impact fee were for the purpose of funding capital improvements, and specifically, the act that you all passed said it should go exclusively for capital projects, including but not limited to debt service on projects or projects, general funds, school funds, special revenue funds, debt service funds, or other capital project funds designated by resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Macon County. To increase the cost, or excuse me, to increase the impact fee, in other words, to pass an increase, it requires 14 members of this body to affirmatively vote for it. So, it was recognized then that the purpose of it was to reflect the substantial population increase in the cost of that, and of course, the new resolution recognizes the increased population increases in Macon County in the recent years, as well as the impact of new commercial and residential buildings. You can change one and not change the other, if that's what you choose to do. You can change them both. Actually, by the statute that you passed, you can also decrease it at any time by that same 14 votes, if you choose. As far as the commercial rate setting, that's something for you all to think a little bit about. So, on one hand, you can increase the commercial rate fee, which, again, given the fact it's not changed in 16 years, but yet the cost of capital improvements in the county has substantially increased. That in of itself might be a reason to increase it. But there's also a second thing you might want to think about as we try to lobby for industry to come to Macon County. If you pass this rate increase, then later on, if we've got somebody that's wanting to locate here, you have the legal authority to waive some part or all of that and actually use it as a tax incentive to get them to come here. Just like we give them a tax incentive on the real property taxes, like we did in Baby Knoll. So that's something to think about there as well.
If we change this tonight, when it go in effect?
Immediately. That resolution says it goes into effect immediately upon your all's
Like
passage.
it's not reason good, but we want to get that, you know, if we do pass it, and we don't want to think tonight, they'll be buying bids tomorrow like crazy.
That's right, that's the reason it goes into effect immediately, Ben. And in other words, when Steve and if you all voted for that, when Steve and Miss Connie puts their signature on it tonight, well, really, when you all pass it, it becomes law, but when they put their signature on it, it's in the books.
Personally, and anybody that's go around this county especially, don't want to make us way down to jump the creek. Right now, what I know of is subdivisions being proposed and all about is over $300. And if we increase this impact fee, it's not gonna slow it down, they're just gonna pass it on. They've got big on this project, a lot of people coming here live, they're coming somewhere else, let them pay their fair share. I mean, it's on here, I mean, where you go. And I know we're different from low taxes, Margaret, the land, there's not many farms, like counties, you can build 6,000, 7,000 on. You go to Jackson County, Smith County, even Travel County, that's not always the case. That's just my opinion on it.
I just want to read something to you all from the original statute that reflects, or I guess echoes what Ben said. When this was passed in 2004, it says, whereas the county's present revenue raising authority is limited by state legislation and relies heavily on intergovernmental transfers, which are not subject to county control, and on property taxes, which would impose the cost of new growth on existing residents rather than on new residents and businesses who create the demand for the additional expenditures. In other words, it recognized then what Benton is saying about now, that when we have additional capital improvements, if we just raise that money through increased tax rates or the increase in value of land subject to tax rates, existing residents actually carry the entire burden of those capital improvements. Whereas the impact fee, when you all originally passed it in 2004 and it was passed by the state legislature, it indeed recognized that new growth, new residents should have to share instead of riding on the back of everybody that's already been here. Simple as that.
I'll ask this question. New commercial development, I want to build a triplex, is that 25 cents a square foot, or is
No.
that's considered?
Residential is as follows: stick-built houses, mobile homes, duplexes, apartment buildings, triplexes. That is residential. Commercial, by definition, cannot have a resident living there.
In my personal opinion, I feel like we need to keep the commercial rate in order, because we don't have that many businesses coming here anyway. I hate to defer anybody who wants to come, raising, as far as the residential, I think we need to look on that. I mean, we got to, it's not gonna slow it down, but we're losing out on a lot of money.
Well, I'm gonna pull a figure out there, and say, they on second. I say go double residential. Make it $2 to a 1,400 foot house, go $2,800. Amortize over 30 years, that's not, I mean, I don't know they're gonna pay it up front. The builder's just gonna figure that in. That's $100 a year. And a lot of these houses, build spec houses, not 10 square foot.
But I think if you raise the commercial, you can say, hey, we'll give you a deal and drop that down to whatever it was, instead of listening to, it's fine to give a deal. That's my opinion.
As of right now, the commercial is very minimal. I wish I would put the numbers on it, but we just, even for in the city, you got the $2 stores and you can have Burger King here or there, but we don't have a lot of commercial, as of right now. It could change. There's just not a lot of commercial coming in.
Do they have to get one for like farms? I mean, is that?
No, that's exempt from the, Michelle, if you want me to, I'll go back and, I'm just gonna mention, some people want to know what it applies to, and so we raised a good point, all right? So these are the things, these are the buildings that's exempt. These are the buildings that are exempt from our current impact development fee. Public buildings, in other words, government-owned buildings, places of worship, barns, outbuildings. I don't know if outbuildings means your toilet or not, but it could be that. Outbuildings or accessory structures used for agriculture or residential purposes. Replacement structures for, and by the way, when y'all say, wait a minute, guy, that says or residential purposes, it means keep in mind, under our, agricultural accessories, you can have, basically a building where seasonal workers live, and it's not subject to the same rules of our zoning, so that's the reason that's here. But when it says or residential, it's talking about that type of agricultural residential building. Also, it does not apply to replacement structures for previously existing structures destroyed by fire or other disasters. Of course, that's got to be replaced within 1 year of the loss. A structure owned by a nonprofit that's a qualified 501c3, in other words, your typical nonprofits that we see. A permanent residential structure replacing a single wide or a double wide, and a few other things. And then a double wide replacing a single wide on the same parcel. So those are the things that exempt. In other words, mobile homes are not exempt, but if you're putting stick built where you had single wide or mobile wide, it's exempt. If you're putting a double wide where you had a single wide, it's exempt. But those are the areas to share.
Is that only the additional square footage from a single to
Actually, it exempts the whole thing. In other words, if you put down a stick built where you've already paid it on a single wide or double wide, then the whole thing is exempt. And vice versa.
hey, what's the will of the body?
Somebody talk, so I think.
Well, I'm gonna jump out on a limb here. Don't you, I'm gonna make a motion that we do 250 square foot, over $1.50
Are you gonna set a minimum?
on residential.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second to go up to 250 on residential.
Go up to 250, not go up from $1 to 250.
Go up to
Over $1.50.
250.
Yeah.
And not go up any on commercial.
Well, you're just making the motion on the one thing, right?
I'll just call mine.
You're just making the motion on the one thing, so that way we don't even.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing it on number one,
Just on
the section.
the residential part.
Got a motion, got a second on that? Got a second. Any further discussion on that? Takes 14 to pass this. Connie, would you call roll, please?
Steve, could you repeat that motion?
Yeah, I couldn't hear it.
Okay. Jeff Hughes made a motion to increase it to $2.50. Residential. That was the motion. Anything else? Not, call roll, please.
Tom Porter, Michelle Phillips, Justin Dyer, Ken Whitty, Scott Cochran, Tony Wicks, Michael Slayton, Jeff Hughes, Barry King, Chad West, Kyle Petty, Wendell Jones, Jerry Wilmore, Helen Hessen, Larry West, Philip Snow, Todd Gentry, Scott Cammons, Mike Jenkins, Benton Bartley. Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion carries.
Okay, on number 2 on commercial development, what's the will of the body?
Make a motion to keep the same.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second to keep the commercial the same. Any discussion? If not, call roll, please.
Michelle Phillips, Justin Dyer, Ken Whitty, Scott Cochran, Tony Wicks, Michael Slayton, Jeff Hughes, Barry King, Chad West,
Aye.
Todd Petty,
Aye.
Wendell Jones, Jerry Wilmore, Helen Hessen,
Aye.
Larry West,
Aye.
Philip Snow, Todd Gentry,
Aye.
Scott Gammons,
Aye.
Mike Jenkins, Benton Bartley,
Uh,
Chuck Porter. Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion carries.
Mayor, I have a question. All right, got to tomorrow, it's gonna take me a minute to get that changed in the system. Do I not sell permits until things change? I gotta get hold of Paul Blue.
You're not gonna sell them, you sell them at this rate?
Okay, that's all I need.
Okay. Now, I guess I need to entertain a motion to, deviate from bringing anything new to you. I've got two items, 3 and 4, that are new items on there. Make a motion, to suspend the rules. Any discussion on that? Not all in favor, let me know, say aye. All opposed, will like sign. There's a couple of things that come up, and I've got one down here under county mayor that we have got to suspend the rules and take care of. Things come up during, in between meetings, that I just can't help. But anyway, the first one is 3-2921. It's a resolution, 2021 CDBG waterline resolution. That will not be necessary. We are not going to be able to give a CDBG grant this year on the water lines. We just don't have the numbers to be able to get it. So Ms. Faith called me Friday, and they've been working on it for the past few months trying to get it. And so we're not going to be able to fund it. The bad thing about it is we're not going to be able to apply for any type of CDBG grant this year. So we tried to get it for water lines. Historically, CDBG grants have always been used for water lines. I know Philip had asked earlier that what else could be used for. They could be used for different things as far as structures, and they could be used, a lot of them are used for fire and EMS type devices, equipment and things. But you have to do surveys of a certain percentage of the county's population when you're doing those type of grants. So it's my understanding that, it'd be hard to do on those. But anyway, we're not going to do that. So the no motion is necessary on that. That's just a FYI for you. It's unfortunate this year, but we're beating 95 counties. We just didn't have the numbers. We tried to do it for Hicksville. That's the closest one we could get. Number 4 is North Central Solid Waste Planning Board resolution. This is basically a resolution that allows me to be on the North Central Solid Waste Planning Board. It's something that's done every 6 years, and it's just time to be done. It needs to be done before a meeting next week. So entertain a motion to accept that resolution. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? If not, all in favor, let it be known, saying aye. All opposed, the like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under county mayor, we'll go into our committee for whole minutes. Mr. Bowles, are you on here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you had discussed at the last meeting about the negotiation. I think you said you weren't ready to bring anything forward. You got anything else you'd like to bring up?
Yes, sir. The only thing I have to bring up tonight is, our school board member that represents districts 9 and 10 has resigned this position, school board, effective, at the end of the meeting last Thursday night. And the county commission by PCA code has to appoint someone to replace him through the rest of his term. This term will expire in 2024.
Okay. Yeah, would you like to explain that to us, the process that need to be done?
Sure. What the statute provides is that actually, after the formal resignation has been tendered, then you all at your next meeting, so April meeting, we would be required to conduct an election. That election is conducted very similar to the same way that you conduct your election if you have a fellow county commissioner that has resigned. The only difference is that school board members have certain qualifications that they're required to have in order to be a school board member. And so the state law requires them to actually, I want to say, apply for the position. They would turn that in to Steve's office, and they also have to file with him proper certification that they either have a high school diploma or a GED. And also, unlike when we have a county commissioner election by the body, the day of the election by you all, individual county commissioners can't nominate somebody at that time. In other words, it's not the process where you all can nominate or somebody can ask. It's the process where somebody has to request to be appointed. They turn that in to the mayor, then he puts it before you all at that election. And then it's not required, but I would suggest that as far as your all's rules of election, that you follow the same rules of election that you do with your own selves when you're electing a new member. In other words, you put the names on the board. The first one that gets 11 votes is deemed elected. If there's more than 2 candidates, as you go through your election, if one candidate, or if there's, say, 3 candidates, if no one gets 11 the first time around, you drop the bottom candidate, and then you keep elected until you have elected someone to hold the seat. And so that will need to be on the next month's agenda.
And we need to advertise that, and it is from the district.
And, yeah, as far as qualifications, it's the same, the qualifications otherwise is the same as if they were a regular school board member. They have to be a resident of Macon County for so long, resident of Tennessee so long, resident of their district, so on and so forth, to be eligible. In other words, the same actual things that they would be for theirs in a normal election.
Okay, you hear what Mr. Bowles has said there, and entertain a motion to go ahead and advertise for this opening that this district.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on that? Mr. Bowles, you have any questions?
No, that's self-explanatory.
Okay. If not, let me do a roll call. Okay, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed by like sign. Hearing none, motion carried. We'll advertise that, get that underway. Anything else, Mr. Bowles?
No, sir, that's all I have right now.
All right, thanks, sir. Glad to hear you doing well.
Thank you, I am. Got real good news from the doctor, and things are looking up. I was able to work full day today, so I'm getting better, a little stronger every day.
Good news. Okay, motion number 5 by King, second by Hughes to allow, discuss a legislative body meeting on the new elementary school and land purchase. I think Mr. Bowles just took care of that, so no motion's necessary. Motion number 6 by Witt, second by King to allow discussion and recommendations from Attorney Guy Holloman at the legislative body meeting on the Baby Knob water tank. Are we ready to proceed?
I want to move that off to the next meeting.
Okay.
Let me have some more discussions with the attorney.
Okay.
It's not, in other words, we're not being prejudiced by not doing anything yet, because remember, it's still sitting in their names, so they have all the liability.
Entertain a motion to send that to the April Commission.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Got a motion, second, any discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, by like sign. Motion number 7 by Petty, second by West, to allow discussion for the general contractor and project supervisor position and defer the legislative body meeting for approval. We met tonight this afternoon rather, the building committee met and discussed this. The committee that looked at this, we have three companies: Bell out of Nashville, Bell Construction. We have Blaine Construction out of Knoxville, and we have I don't have it in front of me. Seldog out of Lexington, Kentucky, that all qualified to be bidders for the jail. So they will be building on that, or be bidding on that. The architect said that we have to go through the specifications of the jail's documents have to be approved by TCI, which is Tennessee Correctional Institute. They have to be approved by the state fire marshal, and then they have to be approved by our local courts. Of course, it's in the city, have to be approved by the city of Lafayette's codes and that. So they said it'd be 6 to 8 weeks before it would be ready to be bid. So that's kind of the time frame you're on. But those are the qualified bidders that to bid on it. And we really don't need anything to approve that. That's, they sent in, and we just made sure that each one of them, we went through a check off on each one of them, made sure they had the points, it was a point system, and all of them qualified without any problems. The other thing that we had that you do need to make a decision on is a monitor person for that project. The USDA is requiring us to have a monitor on site. This person will not be a site supervisor per se. He will not have the authority to tell the contractor to do something or to not do something. His job is to monitor what's going on out there and make reports as USDA requires on that site. So we're doing that. We're going to have to set up a budget for that. It's already stipulated in the USDA contract. I think there's $120,000 or $180,000 set up in that site for that for the 3-year period and things. We'll be setting up a budget. They recommended between $60,000 and $70,000 a year for that. USDA did. I know that's in this area. That's a good salary, but we'll have to look at it. 3 names applied for that. There was Ricky Carter, Troy Brewer, and a gentleman named Larry Wilbanks. And of course, Mr. Brewer and Mr. Carter both are here in town. Mr. Wilbanks is down around Smith, Travis County area. I'm not sure, I met him, but seemed like a nice gentleman, probably the most qualified. But the committee felt that we needed to keep that in-house and keep it in the Macon County, so their recommendation was Ricky Carter at this time to do that. So that's coming from the committee, and then went to the building committee this afternoon, and they agreed on that too. So I'd entertain a motion to accept Ricky Carter to take that position.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? If not, we'll be bringing back a budget figure on that for you. So, no questions? I guess we need to call the roll on that.
Justin Dyer. Ken Whitty. Scott Cawthorn. Tony Wicks. Michael Slayton. Jeff Hughes. Barry King. Chad West. Kyle Petty. Wendell Jones. Jeray Wilmore. Helen Hessen. Larry West. Philip Snow. Todd Gentry. Scott Gammons. Mike Jenkins. Ben Bartley. Chop Porter. Michelle Phillips. Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion carries.
Okay, just a side note on that, we we're closing tomorrow, paperwork, signing off on the paperwork for the interim loan for the 24 million. That's a 3-year loan that will be paid back by the USDA loan in the end. But we closed that Friday then, and we have applied for reimbursement on what we've already spent on that. It's $1,129,000 is my dollars on that, but we're going to get reimbursed and put that back into the budgets where they would go, where we spent that out of the capital projects. So we're doing that.
Will they go back in that debt service line?
Yes, we'll put it back to where it all goes back into. We gotta sit down and figure out where all it's coming out of on that. So that's the intent of that, and that'll be taken care of. Just to let you know what's going on there. Also in the minutes, we talked about the CDs, and I've been here 6 years and I learned something quite a bit last week. In your budgets, and I usually tell you about how much money is in, excuse me just a second. Cash flow, some want to think of it as fund balance, but it's actually cash flow. Today, I had Ms. Parks' department run this. It was $4,321,893.20. Now, to look at that as far as last year, how that compares, last year it was $3,184,707.21. So we are a little bit better off. What I didn't know and didn't realize, and had to get our C-Test rep to start thinking about this on what was taking place. We have 2 CDs. One is 1.4 million, and one's 1.5 million. That's $2.9 million. But those are figures that are part of our budget. And if we take a CD and use it, we are deducting from that $4 million. You do not know where this money comes from or where it came from. We tried to figure that out. There's just no way to figure it out because it was done many years ago. Ms. Parks has not done anything except renew them as they come due, the CDs. But they're $100,000, $200,000 CDs. Now, talking with Jeff Bailey with the state, and he said, yes, that's the way it was. He said we could use $1 million out of there he said the county looked like it was in good shape, we could use $1 million out of there. But if you do, it reflects on your total budget. And it would all be a part of all of these line items that are in this budget. Just to note, today's 1/2 cent sales tax increase that went in for a new elementary school project. Today's figure is $2,179,367.30. So that's getting a little over around $100,000, a little over right now every month put into it. Actually, a little bit more. Our sales tax is coming in good. This January, we were 194% increase in our sales tax for the month. But they have warned us about budgeting on those figures because they're saying that is because of COVID and things that have taken place, and you don't want to jump to conclusions that you're going to be getting that every year, every month, every year. So we just have to watch it as the months go through and see how it's going. There's no doubt that internet sales tax has improved or increased our collections on sales tax since the state recognized or set the regulations up that internet sales has to come back to the county. That's been great, and it's amazing how much we get from Amazon and eBay. It is, but I think you're going to see a trend through the years that you're going to get a lot more revenue of that. But that's kind of what's going on that. I just thought I'd give you a report on that. Next, on motion number 8, Wes, second by Rick, to allow discussion with everybody on the Donahoe property. There has been a application made for $750,000 on the Donahoe property, so we're doing that. I'm going to be talking to you just in a minute on some really good news, so just bear with me as we go through these, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But for now, there's, we don't want to take those CDs and do it right now. You want to wait and see what you can do. purchase right now. We need an intent, and maybe in April, we may have to come back if you want to do that, an intent to get the 750,000, but we can't purchase it, or we won't get the 750,000, so doing that.
See, this may be crossing lines here, or may not be, but those CDs is the county's money, correct?
Right.
Why not put an ad in the paper and ask the citizens what they want to do with it?
Well, we can't do anything when they're part of our budget. That's what I was told, that's what I'm trying to get across. We can't, on those CDs, it's not as simple as, hey, we've got 2.9 million over here. That 2.9 million is part of this 4 million that we operate on, so we can't, if we take it out, we won't have any operating money. It'll affect it. So, and I agree, I mean, it's not a problem asking citizens how they want to do, but, there's
But you
two.
did say you could take half of it out and do something with it.
Well, that would be up to you. I wouldn't recommend that today, and I have a reason I wouldn't recommend that. One, it's your operating money. We got down last year, at the end of the year, a little over $2 million, and if you took out 2.9, scattered down the budget, that was just a 101. But it's scattered throughout the budget. You don't know actually where that money, which part of the budget it is. But as far as if you're looking at 101, we got down low. But that's the reason we don't understand, that's the reason you need 2.5 million in that at the end of July, so you've got the funds to go by. If we use that CD, it's not like me having $50,000 in the bank and having $50,000 in a CD, I would have $100,000. That's not the way this is. That CD is a part of our budget. So it's nothing we can do about it. I did not know that. It took a few minutes for the C-test to sit down and look at it and say, hey, no, that's this line up here. The reason being, they're balanced. And looking at this one, you've got in your upper line your cash on hand. You're showing this year cash on hand $31,619,345.60. Then your total assets that you have down here balance is the same, $31,619,345.60. They got a balance, those two have. So it's, I was thinking, hey, in the terms, just like anybody else would, I think. I've got a CD over here, 50,000. I've got 50,000 bank. I've got $100,000. It's not that way. The 50,000 and 50,000 go together in this respect. But we got, let me talk to you a little bit more on some stuff here in a few minutes, and we'll go from there. And this, it may be that if you ever want to do that, you want to partner with the city, but that's another discussion. What I would like to do is entertain a motion just to send this on to, the Dono property issue, send that on to, April meeting, for discussion, or, a later meeting that might come up, because I'm not sure when we need to bring it back up.
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion second, basically to defer this to another meeting. Any further discussion on that? I hope I explained that clearly for everybody. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Motion number 9 by West, second by Petty, to allow Bobby Crowder to donate a van to control for the legislative body for approval. Entertain a motion to approve that.
I'll make that same motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Why don't you call the roll on it, please?
Ken Whitty,
Aye.
Scott Cochran,
Aye.
Tony Weeks, Michael Slayton, Jeff Hughes, Barry King, Chad West,
Aye.
Kyle Petty,
Aye.
Wendell Jones, Jerry Wilmore, Helen Hessen, Larry West, Philip Snow, Todd Gentry, Scott Gammons, Mike Jenkins, Ben Bartley, Chuck Porter, Michelle Phillips, Justin Dyer. Would anyone like to change your vote? Motion carries.
Okay, motion number 10, by Larry West, second by Wilmore, to allow bids for EMS building for roof at RBS and refer to the legislative body meeting for approval. We did bid that out. We had 2 bids on it, one from Whittemore Roofing, roof repairs at EMS Station 2. A metal roof was $19,480. A shingle roof was $18,760. Kenneth Hollis Reynolds put in a bid, roof and repairs at EMS Station 2, $26,200 for a shingle roof. This includes not only roof, this includes redoing sheetrock, having to tear out some and get to where it's been leaking, put new insulation in, repainting, replastering, and everything. So, the building committee looked at this and, recommended the $18,760 for the shingle roof and Whittemore Roofing on that. So we didn't need to entertain a motion to accept that.
Do you know the square footage in that building?
No, I don't. I don't know.
Just a suggestion, if I think $1,000 more to go with metal roof, wouldn't that be a better deal with shingles and it'll last a lot longer?
No, I think shingle would be better than metal.
What's the, shingles?
It's a lifetime warranty on it. Half as big.
Mayor,
Yes.
when I've been around and, maybe not have a house, you put a metal roof on it, the problem with metal roof is you rubber around your screws, but eventually goes away, then there you got a problem with a leak again. I just think shingle roof myself is the best way to go.
Yes, that's a problem that they have in EMS all the time up here, is the nails, the screws, after a few years, they start leaking, and it's hard to find them when you put the, paper underneath it, it runs everywhere. They'll go up there and try to do it. I know that, a lot of the people that have metal roofs like that, they have devices that actually put suction on them and tell whether they're leaking or not. I know Ivan Davis does that with his buildings out here.
Steve, where's the money coming from?
This have to be a fund balance.
Okay.
You had 16,000 left in that, Tennessee Cares money, which is in fund balance, so it is fund balance money, it's on that. What's the will of the body?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion and a second to accept, Whittemore Roofing's bid of $18,760. Any further discussion on that? Call roll, please.
Scott Cochran.
Aye.
Tony Weeks. Michael Slayton. Jeff Hughes. Barry King. Chad West. Kyle Petty. Wendell Jones. DeRay Wilmore. Helen Hessen. Larry West. Philip Snow. Todd Gentry. Scott Gammons. Mike Jenkins. Ben Bartley. Chuck Porter. Michelle Phillips. Justin Dyer. And Kim Whitney.
Aye.
Would anyone like to change their vote? Motion carries.
Just, this has been leaking for years over there because they've worked on it, Lawrence has worked on it over there, the boys have. We've had different roofers over there checking it, and I don't know, Tony's been over there. But I talked to him today after we seen what the bids were and asked him when he would be able to start on it. He said right away. It's just a matter of getting the materials. He said he'd be ready to start on it. Said it was leaking bad, so. All right. Motion number 11 was for King, secretary, to allow Mac Davis to mow property on west side of the first. Legislative body meeting for approval and recommendations from Attorney Guy Hall.
If he signs a waiver, let him mow away. If he doesn't sign a waiver, what it would cost us to pay somebody to mow it will be nothing compared to what it costs us if he gets hurt and sues us. So, that's what I recommend. If you'll sign the waiver, simple waiver, waiving liability to the county, then let him mow away. More power to it. God bless him.
He's wanting to, fertilize it and get it fertilized and everything, so I'll contact you tomorrow on that. What's, entertain a motion to?
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed? All opposed, like sign. Hearing none, motion carried. Motion number 12, Louise, second by Jenkins, to accept building codes impact fee report and refer to the legislative body meeting for approval.
Make that motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, by like sign. Hearing none, motion carried. Motion number 13 by King, second by Wilmore, to accept animal control report and refer to the legislative body meeting for approval.
Make it same motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed, by like sign. Hearing none, motion carried. During that meeting, Mr. Reedy also asked about the courthouse renovations. We are, got them, contractors looking at it right now to bid on it. We only have one. We have another one that we kind of backed out on bidding on it. So they'd like to extend the date on the bid. We've got a couple more down that are interested in it that we found out about. I talked to folks, Romac, to Nathan Morgan, that's over the sites here doing the schools, and he gave us some names of people that would be right up their alley, he said, to bid on it. So we will probably extend that deadline on that. But we'll bring you back more information on that. That's okay. I don't think there's any action needs to be taken on it, but we will be extending that. Okay. Let me have a little sip of water.
On that little, are we gonna get to look at the Rite Aid building?
I'm fixing to get it.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Let me give you some good news before we start spending the money. We, of course, have been told we're getting $689,130. $689,130 through monies from the state this year. Like we got $867,000 last year, $64,000. So we're getting that, or supposed to be getting that. We're not sure now what's going to happen. The federal government released last Friday that we are getting, or last Thursday, and we have meetings on it Friday. We're getting $4.7 million from the federal government that's going to come to Macon County. That's has to be used on certain things. The $689,000 will have stipulations. It's already got stipulations on it. But we have got several projects. Of course, the courthouse here is one. I know the discussions, we've talked about the Rite Aid building and what to do. I've been talking with the real estate folks on that. I've got the keys to it. I'm gonna invite you, let's set a date, time, and I'll take one or all of you up there to look at it, to walk through it. Evan White has said that he would do us a simple layout of it, of seeing how it would lay out, if it would work. I don't know if it's big enough. Parking wise, it's more than big enough. We've got 25 employees parked here every day. There's 55 parking places up there, so there's not a problem. And location, there's no question about that. It's a great location. It's being priced right now at $1.6 million. We can buy it cheaper than that. The real estate guy said he thought they would take less because they had it for a while, and the investment group has had this since '98. And so they're ready to get rid of it. They've not been able to lease it or sell it. And so that's something we want to do. But that is something, if you look at it, if you like it, that is one of the things that these funds may be able to be used for. We've got to check and see. There's going to be stipulations on it. First off, it's COVID-related issues. Then there is infrastructure, water, sewer, gas. One of the things that I've talked to the committees about today is get water lines up Old Bottom and up Sycamore Valley or that we could get into some areas that we could get possibly some CDBG grants for those people up there to get them water. You know, we can't afford the amount of money that it takes to put water everywhere in this county. But if we can get it up some of these roads, the main line of these roads, to where we can do some CDBG grants, we can start getting some back. And that, of course, all depends on the city of Lafayette being able to have a water supply for it on that. But still, we've got to do that. But the good news is we are getting $4.7 million. I will come back with you. We're supposed to get the first half of it in 60 days, within 60 days. We're getting 4.7, City of Lafayette's getting 1.4, a little over, and City of Red Boylan's getting around 300,000. So everybody's getting a piece of the pie. This was something that was asked this time from counties and government. In the conversations on meetings with Tennessee County Service Association Friday, we had that meeting at 10 o'clock. There was 95, 99 on that call, I think they said, not hardly 100. And everybody was told that this is coming straight from the federal government to the counties, and that hopefully auditing would be taking care of the audits on it and make sure it did it. The governor at 11:30, we talked with him, and he was talking to all the county mayors, and he made mention that, you know, the state would need to get involved in things. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's supposed to come from the feds straight to us as rural counties and municipalities, but we'll see. There will be limitations on how we can use it. There are everything from, it can be used for essential services bonuses for employees. I've talked with some other mayors, and we think that's a dangerous thing, because how do you tell one employee he's essential and another employee's not? So either you give it to all of them, you know, a bonus, or you don't give it to any of them. Now, you know, we'll have money there if we want to do that, then that would be great, to give these employees, all employees something, because they've all struggled this year. Yes.
Some time ago, the city of New Orleans Springs said they were going to need additional water storage tank on the Kermitown water line. Could that be used for that, or would that be Red Boiler Power? Or I think it's been like a year, maybe 18 months ago, they said with the growth that they were expecting, that they just been on storage on that water line.
Right.
I don't know where y'all remember about it.
You could use it for that infrastructure, for water infrastructure. And we gotta see, you know, we're doing something here, it's kind of like CDBGs. We get the grant and we give it away. Some of the funds, we're not allowed to have what they call sub-recipients. They wouldn't let us give it to other people or other government agencies. We couldn't give it to the city. We couldn't give our part to the city or things like that. So we'll have to check and see, but anything's an option. Things that have been going on in the county, we need to put a list together and then just say what we need to do and look and see how much money we got. You know, it all needs, not all, but what we did this past time with 800,000+ was in capital projects. Just like this year in the budget, I talked to the sheriff the other day about putting his, what I knew this before the 4.7 million, is taking the 689,000 that has to go into capital projects. It's one of the things it goes to. So buying his patrol cars this year, buying the ambulance that they're needing to remount it, do those type things in that instead of putting them in the budget. So doing those water lines, 88, whatever you do, but we'll put some things together. And as soon as I have the guidelines that they're going to come down with, I'll get back with y'all on it. But we should get our first half in about 60 days of it, and it'll be deposited in and things, and then we'll decide where to put it. But it'll be your choice, your decision, where it goes, what to do. It's not mine. All I'm doing is working the paper trail for you on that, giving you the ideas of where you might get spend it legally on that. That's the thing we want to do. But anyway, to me, it's good news. This is out of the ordinary for a county to get $4.7 million from the federal government. So look at that. What I'd like to do is set up a time and date. When would be a good time for y'all to go up? And the one thing I need to do, there's two things that need to be done. Now, Evan said that he would do us just a simple drawing of how we could set that building up. If it's enough space in there to do it, he would do that for free. But we need to find out how much it's gonna cost, so if we want to buy this, we know how much we're having to put in it. We can use that to negotiate on the price. And he gets $60 an hour, so I'd like to see him figure what it's gonna cost for the floors and the walls and the ceilings. It's gonna have to be roofed. I've been up there and looked at it. It's got a leak, so, and it's built in '97, so it's gotta have a roof done. It's gonna have to have heat and air put in differently for the building. And then it's gonna have to have floor, walls, and so forth. Walls that are put in that building will have to be insulated and soundproofed walls in there, because you don't want one department hearing what another department's doing. It's got a 12-foot ceiling in it, and it's just like this. It's got the big ceiling. You're gonna need to come under, put walls, and then put the drop-in ceiling in each department and insulate those overhead and everything. So there's a lot of work to be done. You'll spend more on it probably fixing it up than you will getting it. It just depends on if it's the size, it's ready and available for you to do something if you need to sometime. Then you've got to worry about what you're gonna do at the courthouse. That would take a lot off of what you're doing here. You can keep this historically the same way it is, dry it in, and take care of the building in that respect. Maybe move archives in it and your historical, or use it for file storage in the building if you need to. We've got to have somewhere to store files. I was asked earlier about the Klein building. The Klein building is 2/3 full of nothing but files or records down there. Is what it's wound up. That, I know you spent $30-something thousand for that building. That's been the best money we've spent just to have a place to store stuff. Now, the records that are in there, will they ever be used? Probably never. But they have to be stored because of that. If there's a fire and they're destroyed, there's nothing to do about it. Let's hope there's never a fire down there and destroy somewhere or anything. But I was asked that this afternoon about what would happen to those records, or what would happen if we lost those records. Really, truly, they're just records that are having to be stored indefinitely for now. But anyway, that's all I have on that. Of course, Brian, that's what I was going to ask you to suspend the rules on, and you've already taken care of that. So that's all I have for tonight.
I got one more thing.
Okay.
So, I want you all to put something on your agenda for April. You may not be aware, but about 20 years ago, the county entered into a franchise agreement with a couple of different video providers for the county. In other words, your television, cable. And one of those is North Central, one of them's Comcast. And under the terms of those agreements, they expired actually last year. Before we renew those franchise agreements, we have to put a public notice in the paper, which we've already done that, and the time for the public notice is ran. And all you would be doing is voting on to renew both of these franchise agreements. The language is identical. By law, we have to treat all video providers the same. The fee that they pay is the max that they'll be paying. The maximum, let me start again. The fee that they have to pay, the two video providers, is the maximum amount allowed by law. I've got them both paying 6% of their, I guess it's gross revenues in the county. And so, I'd like for you all to put that on and pass it in April, because like I said, they expired in 2020. And these new agreements are crafted for 10 years apiece, so that if there is something that changes in the law the next 10 years that allows us to raise that rate, or something changes that allows it to be done differently, we've got a little bit of flexibility. Excuse me, we've got a little bit of flexibility. Is that clear as mud?
Yeah.
Thank you, Helen.
God, you've been playing in the color, ain't you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Let me ask before we
Got you
adjourn.
back, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I'd give you a hug if I could.
Let me ask this before we adjourn. When would you like to go up to the Rite Aid building and look at it?
Sometime in the afternoon, when everybody gets off
Afternoon?
work. That
I
possible
think
enough.
tomorrow. What time's the fire board meeting Thursday?
6 o'clock.
6. Would 5 o'clock work for everyone
Thursday.
Thursday?
I don't feel good.
Or we can do it Saturday morning? Do it at 5 o'clock Thursday?
Make sure all the names up here before we leave tonight.
Okay.
Hopefully it's additional.
Is everyone okay with me getting that, Evan, to go ahead and relook at that? I've went through the building here and kind of got rough estimates of square footage of each department, what they got. Anyway, got one more motion needs to be made.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion second to adjourn. All in favor, let it be known, saying aye.